What's up? Today we're gonna paint food. What's up, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. And today we're gonna paint this food. It's called Rozalach, which is a very funny name. A restaurant that I kind of like in my area serves that. It's like just dough with something on it, spread like chocolate or something like this, rolled up, and it's really tasty. And I just talked to them and I told them that I can make a painting for them. I don't know if I'll give it to them, but it just looks like something nice to paint. And I don't think I ever really painted food, like at least not seriously, so this is what we're gonna do today. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna edit this one, okay, so I'm recording this before making the painting. I think I'll try to cut it a little shorter as I usually do lately, and then if you're interested in a full demo with everything explained, then you can request it in a comment below, okay, but I think I'm gonna try and shorten some of the videos and just get to the main points. Okay, so we're gonna see about that. If you're ready, let's change the angle and get started with this one.
Okay, so sometimes I have to kind of record the painting process and then I realize what I want to focus on. And with this one, what really stuck out for me was how well executed was the drawing process. So this is what I want to focus on in this one. I will show everything, including the painting, but notice what I'm doing. I'm basically marking borders, okay? And this is how I will know where the actual center of attention, which is the food, is going to start and end. So I marked two borders on each side. And then what I do is I try to figure out where I fit in the actual Rozalach inside this scene that I created and where everything is going to be placed. This runs, I believe, at real time. I wanted to preserve at least the drawing phase, at least some of it, of me doing the main work in real time, and later on we're gonna bump that into double speed or triple speed. So what you see here is actually the real pace at which I'm working on, and I'm just trying to figure out where everything sits. Okay, now you don't have to be 100% accurate with this one, or with this stage rather, but you kind of want to be able to fit everything in the way you prefer to. Okay, so this is just me trying to figure out how I can fit everything in and not have something completely get out of the space that I allocated. So now we have basically the same object, which is the little parts of the food, and they're simply arranged differently. Okay, so some of them we see at a certain angle and others at another angle. And all you want to do is make sure that you place them in properly, taking into consideration the three-dimensionality. So the one that's in the center is facing towards us, meaning we can see all of the filling in front of us. Then the one on the right is facing a little away from us to the left. There's the one on top of that. And you can see how this really, I think, fits in nicely. Now, this is in terms of the proportions and arrangement. Now, I didn't change too much here because I felt like the arrangement and composition were pretty good. The one thing I wasn't able to get in was that teacup or glass of tea on the right side. It kind of almost fit in, but I actually, at the time, I did that deliberately because I thought it would work out better that way. So in any case, now I'm running these lines that run across like in a perspective kind of, and represent the surface of the table. So that's in terms of the arrangement. Now let's talk a bit about what we actually draw when we create a drawing for a watercolor painting. So if my final goal was to actually have a pencil drawing, I would do this or approach this in a different way. I will be really accurate with the lines and try to add in a lot of details and have everything really well planned. But with this, what I do is work very differently. The way I like to draw is the shapes of light and shadow. I literally look for the changes in light and try to paint according to them, to draw according to them. So now we have the filling part with this particular area. So I'm putting the line there because it turns really dark. But then there's a shadow on the right. So you see I'm really indicating this. And this is how I work with portraits as well. For this particular picture, I actually manipulated it a bit, turned it black and white, and just looked at how the values are arranged. I do plan on making a video really soon about how to make a photo more painting friendly, so you can take basically any photo, any picture reference out there, and turn it into something you can paint even as a beginner. We will learn how to reduce the complexity of the image into something that is more indicative of a painting, or maybe more well suited for a painting. So anyway, now I'm adding in all the details, the inside parts of these rolls of dough, and this is where I put in the details. Now I want to put in all of the necessary changes in value. So because there are dark and light parts there, I'm putting all of those details in. But I don't care beyond that, okay? I don't necessarily want to draw the shape of the object and the way it rolls. I don't necessarily care as much about that. I mostly care about where areas turn from light to dark. And this is the separation I want to really indicate, okay? So this is the first one. I'm going to blow my nose. Sorry about that. I'm a little sneezed just because I didn't sleep really well, so I'm gonna be fine like tomorrow. Yeah, didn't sleep enough hours. Lately I've been really okay with sleep, but the last few days I've been a little packed with lots of things to do and lots of action. So in any case, now you see I'm going, and now I sped it up a bit, so you can see that it looks a little faster. So this is not the real pace. You don't need to draw this fast. I don't draw this fast. Now you'll see how I add fewer details with this one, just because it doesn't really matter. Aside from those doughy rolled parts, you see I don't really get into all of the details inside there. I really try to indicate them as lightly as possible, and this is really always a game, kind of. You always play and move between adding a lot of details and then trying to add less or fewer details. When you add a lot of details and you have all of the lines crystal clear, what can happen sometimes is that it feels like you're painting, you're like coloring a coloring book. It doesn't feel like you're really painting or doing anything with the brush. And when you put fewer details, it can work out really nicely and allow you to bring out much more presence, at least for me, because the painting part is harder. I've been drawing my entire life, so the painting part is more challenging. So when I force myself to focus on that, the results I get are much better. But then again, you don't want to go into this extreme too much as well. So you don't want to be in a situation where your drawing is so lacking in details that you just don't know what to put in there. And I've been there, you know, not with these kinds of like still life, because with still life I pretty much know what to put in, but maybe more with when working on landscapes, cityscapes, urban sketches. This is where I found that I can mess up by putting in too few details, and then midway through the painting I realized that I don't know what to paint because I don't have anything to work by, you know. So this is quite interesting. Now the colors I'll be using for this one, you'll see, are pretty unique for me, and I'm really pleased with how they turned out. So with my portraits, it's so crystal clear when you see a face that I can allow myself to go a little more wild with the paint. But with this kind of thing, if I would just choose greens and purples, you will have no idea what you're looking at. So it felt to me a little more important with this one to be more loyal to the source. Here you can really see clearly how I draw, by the way, the shape of lights. Notice the right part. There's some strong shadows and highlights on this particular part. And you see me drawing them right about now. So anyway, it was important for me to be a little more loyal to the original colors here, just to give a better impression of what I'm drawing. So basically I'll be using yellows, reds, oranges, and a bit of blue for the shadows. This is the main colors I'll be using. If you want me to be more specific, I'll be using New Gamboge, which is a warm yellow. Everything is Daniel Smith, everything I'm telling you. So New Gamboge, warm yellow, I'll be using Pyrrol Scarlet here and there, which is a very warm orangey red. I'll be using Quinacridone Burnt Orange, which I did an episode of in the paint show recently. And I'll be using French Ultramarine. And these will give me a nice mixture. I don't remember if I used anything else. I think this was it. So now that I'm done with the main part, I'm moving into that glass here at the top. And just putting in, I'm going to probably put in some details on the left as well. Though I'm not sure. I think I may be done with this part. And you see I'm really just blocking in some elements in there because there aren't too many details there, and it's not that important. So now I'm starting with the painting process. You can't see the mixing area. Apologies about that. It's outside of the frame. So now with the painting process, I thought I'll run it a little faster because I wanted really the focus to be the drawing. And so this is a good example of a drawing I'm very pleased with, and that makes me very prepared to move on to the painting process. So this is my balance. This is an ideal example of my own balance. So now I'm using the Quinacridone Burnt Orange, and you see I'm bluing it up with some French Ultramarine. This is the blue I chose to use here. And you can see again, I'm moving with the oranges, just starting to put in some details. And here I changed to some of the new Gamboge. Now I made a mistake, and you'll see this in the second wash. First off, notice how important it is to connect as many parts as possible. So I already connected some of the objects to the background, and also one to another, and the shadows and the cast shadows. But in any case, the mistake I did here in some parts is that I used immediately on the second wash, I used bluer shadows. What I should have done is kept the blue to the very last third wash, and then it will have preserved the vibrancy of the paint. You'll see this. A good example of this is the glass that you'll soon see me doing. Notice, by the way, there's a lot of sugar there, so I'm getting that in using dry brush. You see a lot of dry brush strokes. This will help me get that powdery feeling. I really didn't know how to approach this, and I kind of improvised, and I think it worked out really nicely. But in any case, with the glass, you'll see that I am able to preserve the reds that you'll see me putting in a few moments. But with the pastry, I wasn't able to, so I got a little confused there for a moment. So yeah, there was another thing I wanted to tell you, but I forgot about right now. But anyway, so yeah, this is a good example of... By the way, this is also a good example of a perfect initial wash for me. This is exactly what I like. This is exactly what I enjoy. There's a lot of variation in color. It looks exactly to my liking. Notice also how the pastry in the foreground and in the kind of a little midground or background are different. The ones at the back are bluer. Also this area at the back here, I add a bit more blue, some orange as well. But it's a little duller, more dull, just to put it at the back. Now with the glass, I did feel like I wanted to make it a little vibrant. So this is what you see here. I messed up at the left area, so I'm lifting that up, I'm wetting it, and kind of letting it blend in. Now here's the mess up. Okay, so you see I'm taking blue here, and then I added a bit of orange because I understood it was a bit too blue. But you'll soon see when I get to the actual Rozalach that I do this kind of mess up just a bit. It's still a good result, I think. I have many good ideas for videos that I want to share really soon. Oh yeah, I wanted to share with you. I've been thinking about an idea, and I kind of forgot what it was that I wanted to talk about. This is what I wanted to say earlier. In any case, now you see I'm starting to put in the blues inside the shadows, and this is the part that kind of scares me, because I just blew it up too much, too quickly. Maybe with the background it's okay, but notice here I'm really using blues. So that sucks a bit, but in any case, at least I learned. With the glass I learned. I already learned while doing the painting. I'm like, I neutralized it too much, so let's preserve it with the glass. So that's one good thing. Another thing I wanted to say is that I don't know if you are listening to my podcast, but what I plan on doing, hopefully this month or maybe the next month, is to start uploading it to YouTube as well. I just need to think about how I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be a separate channel for sure, so I'll probably have like Liron Jankowski's podcast or Liron's Art and Creativity Show. I need to think about the actual channel name. The show is called that, but I'm not sure. Some wet in wet action, by the way, and there are strong shadows under the pastry as well, so I want to get that in. So in any case, I want to distribute my stuff as much as possible, and one of those distribution channels is YouTube as well for my podcast. So currently my podcast is pretty much everywhere that's meant for podcasts, so I got it on iTunes and on Stitcher, which are the popular kind of Apple and Android apps. I also have it on TuneIn, which means that if you have an Alexa, you can an Alexa device, you can basically say, I think, okay, I can't test it out because I'm outside the US, unfortunately, but if you have an Alexa device, you can just say, Alexa, play Liron's Art and Creativity Show, and it'll play that, which is pretty cool. So if you have an Alexa device and you test it out, I'll be really happy if you tell me if that worked. So in any case, I want to put it on YouTube as well because it's really important for me. What I need to think about is what I show during that, because I don't want it to be just a black screen. It feels unprofessional for me. So I actually have kind of not stock videos, but videos I recorded that are pretty general, just showing me painting outside and doing some stuff that I can just put in the background, just so that you can have something to look at while, I guess, listening to the podcast, if you choose to, because it's going to be on YouTube. Now notice here, I'm going to use really pure red, and this is super important, okay? And then I'm alternating with the blue and playing around with warm and cool, and it creates a really cool effect there, a really nice effect, not a cool effect necessarily. So in any case, and this is just one part of the distribution. By the way, this area I'm coloring in now and painting is darker. It's the background is significantly darker than that bag in the front, so hopefully I get that correctly. I think I'll darken it a little more later on. In any case, you may have noticed also that I changed the distribution of videos. So far I've kind of shared them on Instagram and Snapchat and pretty much that's it. Sometimes on Reddit. But now I started doing something a little different. So I take every video that I publish and turn it into a blog post and post it, if it's relevant, on Wet Canvas, which is a painting forum. It has a large watercolor section. And also I post a written version of each work on my website. And this is, I think, really cool because some people really want the, I guess, text version, and I really enjoy it, and it's just another channel of distribution, so why not, you know? So in any case, yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you prefer a written version of my videos, you can find that on my website. So that's lironyan.com, LIRONYAN.com. This is also where I publish my podcast episodes, so you can definitely check it out. And we're really near the finishing. We're at the finishing touches of this one. So I put in the darkest darks. And now I'm just going to sign this, and this is basically done. I really hope you enjoyed this. You can see I neutralized again some of the yellows and oranges, but I'm still pleased with the final result. Okay, so I'm done here. I'm really happy about the way this turned out. The one thing I would do differently is I think in the beginning I really nailed the different colors. I had a lot of oranges, then yellows, then some blues and reds, and then as I kept adding layers, I think I lost some of that simply because I shaded everything using a very similar color. So for the next time, what I think I will do is try and shade using the same color. So maybe shade using yellow over yellow, orange over orange. I did a bit of that here, red over red, and it could perhaps improve the result. I'm really pleased with how I preserved my highlights. It feels like there's a lot of sugary coating here. Overall, really happy with this, and also happy with the way the center of focus
kind of merges into the environment, which was done, as you saw, by adding those by merging rather those initial layers with the surroundings. Okay, so when I started with this layer, I kind of let it blend with the background, and I think this is really important. Also here I pulled from this layer already all the way downwards here, so just to have a homogeneous look, I guess, and an even result. This is, I think, really important. I don't feel like the glass takes up too much attention. I think it just fits in there really nicely. So overall, really pleased with this. I hope you enjoyed this process. We can change the angle and wrap up this video. So thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this process. Let me show you once again the final result. I am pretty much pleased with this one. As I mentioned, I think the one thing that I could have done a little better is maybe preserve the uniqueness and pureness of colors even in the second wash. This is something I'm aware of, but still working on. So meaning when I put in the first layer of shadows, I could have mixed a bit less with the blues and just keep it maybe pure and for an additional layer by adding yellows and oranges. So this is really something to consider, not just for these kinds of paintings, but also for portraits and also for landscapes. Perhaps to have the second layer, the second wash, still very pure and vibrant and unique. So this is one thing I'm taking with me from this one. I'll probably try and apply it soon in another painting. And this is it. Again, I hope you really enjoyed this video and learned something new from this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you still haven't, and if this is the first video you see. I have many other full painting processes, short painting processes, paint reviews, other product reviews, even some book reviews, some vlogs, some fun adventures outside, inside. And I'm really trying to expand in many directions and see what I enjoy and what you react to the most and what you enjoy watching the most. Okay, so again, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in another video really soon.